December 25, 2025.
Cinco.
Just 6 days before year's end. Pay attention to this. A very, very delicate situation for political prisoners in Venezuela. María Corina Machado has already said it. She has commented on it. Are there summary executions happening in Venezuelan prisons? Tonight here on Military Strategies, the dungeons of terror of Nicolas Maduro's regime are exposed. Family, your likes, your comments. Let's begin.
Oh.
Family, very good evening. Welcome to Military Strategies. Good evening. Just to say something, I already mentioned it in the previous show. Some loved ones are absent for various reasons, as I mentioned. Some due to illness, others because they have passed away. It's the law of life, or the Creator has called us to be reunited. But there are others who... This Christmas 24 are political prisoners. They are people who have been kidnapped, disappeared. The story's endless. It's endless. In Venezuela, according to human rights organizations and the United Nations, torture is carried out systematically. Is it because of ideology, the way of thinking, or simply for being inconvenient to a dictatorial regime like Nicolas Maduro's? A guy who just a while ago presented himself as a practicing Christian. What we're going to see tonight on Military Strategies is yet another example of why Nicolas Maduro shouldn't be in power. It's a complicated situation, very, very complicated. It's a delicate subject that we're going to talk about tonight, and I ask all of us to reflect on it because it's important, very, very important. Please, your likes, your comments are super important for what could be a very important night for many family members of people who are missing or who don't know what has happened to their loved ones. The truth is, when I started to open this page of the book of Venezuela,
No.
it was horrible, terrible. Reviewing testimonies and interviews. I've prepared this program for weeks. I've only selected 2 videos so we can understand a little bit what the situation is. We'll be working with the map and traveling inside Venezuela again. We had done it with the cartel's airstrips, logistics centers, with the plantations, with suspicious places. Today we're going to do it with the prisons. Have we ever touched on that before? Program on International Telecommunication Union. I was giving him an insight into Aragua prison. What was all that like back then? But honestly, what we're going to see tonight is really intense. And I think tonight is the perfect night to watch it. We need to be clear about something. María Corina Machado, and this is where I'm going to start with this topic, has published something precisely today. A message that is disturbing, very, very disturbing. We see it here, María Corina Machado says, and I'm going to expand on it a little bit.
Oh.
World alert. Threats to Venezuelan political prisoners. In the last few hours, I have received information about direct and systematic threats of extrajudicial execution against political prisoners held in Rodeo Prison in Venezuela. These threats are made by officials of the regime's repressive agencies and constitute crimes against humanity, major breaches of international humanitarian law, and an imminent risk to the lives of people who are currently being held as hostages by the state. These are direct, repeated intimidations aimed at completely defenseless people, deprived of their freedom and under state custody. The regime is responsible for any physical or psychological harm that results from these threats. We demand immediate action from the international community and international human rights organizations including protection and verification mechanisms to prevent extrajudicial executions. We urge democratic and allied governments to activate urgent measures of diplomatic pressure, international monitoring, and formal warnings to deter the regime from carrying out these threats. We request immediate protection for political prisoners, access for independent observers, and effective guarantees for their life and personal integrity. Are lives at risk today? A message from María Corina Machado. Quite clear, quite extensive, also explaining a very difficult situation for thousands of people right now in Venezuela. I'm not going to judge whether María Corina Machado's message is the right one or not. Is it too light, or should she be more incisive in directly calling for a military intervention to put an end to this situation? What I'm going to do is say that the best way we have to give our opinion is through the comments, both in the live broadcast we're doing now and in the recorded one. And from there, we can all go together to understand, learn about, and draw conclusions about what is really happening right now in Venezuela.
No.
I understand María Corina's political message, but this is not about sending observers. This is about freeing people. And now you're going to understand why. It's a tough show. I'm warning you, it's for December 24th. Maybe not, or maybe yes, because people need to see this and they need to understand what's happening. We're going to play a first video that's going to open the door to many others. It's a mother. It's a mother at the gates of one of those prisons. The terror. We'll see the prison in a moment. Your little cousin is like a flame, and be careful, because your little cousin has been growing and now there's more than one, but we'll see it now.
Don't get lost. God wasn't light. He isn't lucky. Quite the opposite. Always, always, always. And God, don't do the same. Don't do it.
Don't do the same, God. Don't take it away from me. Take it away.
Not the same.
That's why they want happy Christmases, but you can't have them.
You haven't gotten lost. God wasn't light.
Joke Doge. Any father or mother. To see a mother kneel on the ground at the door of a prison. At the door of a prison, I think that it's understandable. Excuse me, let's set the super chat goals. Just a second, family.
Yep. Bye.
All done. Sorry about that. It's a document. That's terrible. Like this lady we're seeing, there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands suffering every day. This happened about a year ago, around this time, a year ago. And of course, so when you see a message talking about international observers and all that story, I think there's nothing more to observe. I believe what needs to be done, just my opinion as a person, and I'm no longer discussing military strategies or speaking as one. We are human beings. People's suffering deeply affects and hurts me. We should request immediate military intervention. Above all, the first thing we need to do is secure the places we're going to see now. And that are important. Last week, the regime was moving political prisoners from the helicoid, Delcy's prison, and started distributing them throughout the country. Some hidden. I've started working on this issue. I've started looking into it. And you're going to be amazed to understand the evil these people have and how human beings can be. You're going to be amazed with this. We're leaving the map of the air battles and all this story for now. Let's leave all this, by the way. Thank you. And this plane we're seeing here, Sam? 771 is a high-ranking official from Washington who is arriving right now at Mar-a-Lago. I suppose, or I assume, that it's to meet with Donald Trump. I hope that Marco Rubio and Donald Trump or someone else gets this message so that you understand a little. You have to have heart and you have to have dignity because what we're about to see is tremendous. Let's go to the map. Let's go to the map. Let's take out the background of the map. All the icons you see right here in this image. In fact, we're going to try to place it on another template so it looks much better. Let's see if we can do it here. There it is. Let's put it here. I'm not turning on my camera so you can see better. There's no interference at all.
No.
These are the main icons, but there are others as well. Torture prisons in Venezuela. It's amazing. We haven't added another topic here that hasn't been discussed before. Mass graves. Missing people. Who have never appeared, but mass graves have been found. All right. Then get ready with this. Some places are sinister. Very, very sinister. This prison we see here is one of them, the Urbana prison. Urbana, this prison we see here, that has been getting bigger and bigger. It has political prisoners. Around the prison, there's a kind of trench, and around the prison, patrols. Agents with dogs. The prisoners? Even though this was built so that the United Nations would think they go out to the yard, none of the political prisoners go out to the yard. None of them. In fact, we're going to prove it here today using military strategies in a very simple way. We're going to rewind the footage, focusing on one of these yards to see if we spot any people at any point. Notice how you can't see any human being. There are places where you can see people at certain moments, but very few. Look, you can't see anyone here now, year 2019.
19.
A group of prisoners cornered. Against the wall in this area we see here, you can see a group. How they are cornered there. The guards are supposed to be all these that we see around here, most likely. We keep seeing images. Here we're going to show things as they are. We're not going to hide anything. And be careful because we have a video of Vladimir Padrino, which is devastating, devastating. The video I saw of Vladimir Padrino visiting one of these places. It's enough to make you want to go to Venezuela now. And liberate it? Are you going to watch it? Look, you can't see it. No signs of life, just different images at different times. Year 2016, 2015. You don't see a soul. Nothing good. At times, you can see here how everyone is lined up, or what could be a lineup of people. This is 2011. This is when this mega prison was still under construction. Not far from there, right next to it, on the other side of the road, there was already one. There was already one of these centers. Nicolas Maduro has only focused on building one thing. Not bridges, trains, or civil infrastructure. They're prisons to repress the people of Venezuela.
No.
And people need to know this. They need to find out. Are you seeing it here? These places that look like they have a track for something? There's nothing. 4 or 10 inmates come out from time to time, and that's about it. It's pretty inexplicable. Well, as I was saying and mentioning, there's a video of Vladimir Padrino, which is really something. But before we go there, we're going to another type of detention center on the border between Colombia and Venezuela. Which, by the way, in these areas is where, curiously or mysteriously, mass graves with human beings later appear. It's an incredible thing. Western Penitentiary Center. More of the same. You can't see a single image, not a single image where there are people in the yards, not one. Here you can see a small group, some shadows of about 10 people. This is absolute madness. Entering a place like this is, psychologically, to completely break a human being, leaving them with psychological scars for life. In fact, when Donald Trump says that Venezuela opened its prisons and let all the sick people out, it doesn't surprise me because it would be impossible for you to be psychologically well after living through a hell like this. So we're going to the place where this lady was on her knees, where the woman was screaming because she wanted them to release her son. It was here. Tokuyito, the name that doesn't deceive. The reality is different. Tokuyito 1 and Tokuyito 2. Look here. The wastewater is together to the prisoners. Imagine living with that. The prisoners are piled up, organized by groups and circles. They can't move freely around the yard. They have to stay grouped at all times. Do you see that image there? Look at the facilities. Look at the condition they're in. The yards are supposed to be yards, but there's no one there. They don't let the inmates out into the yard. There are no inmates in the yard at any time, anywhere. If we go back to 2019, we see people here. What appears to be people in 2018. The regime has become much more aggressive with the prisoners, more and more, every time, more and more. It's absolute madness. What we're seeing, not to mention the maintenance of these facilities, is non-existent. It doesn't exist. Construction began in 2015. It's incredible that a prison that opened in 2017 ends up turning into, look at this. It's a rapid evolution, a total decline that ends up having sewage and wastewater in the back of the yard. It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean it. These are torture centers. Systematic. It's systematic. There's no difference here. There's Tokuyito 2 or Tokuyito 1. I don't even know if this is 2 or 1. I don't care. Look at the trash where it piles up. The infections these people have to endure. The smells that the prisoners have to endure are unbelievable. The quality of life conditions
Son
are terrible. You can even see that there have been fires and all that smoke had to be inhaled by the prisoners. It's terrible. What's happening here is terrible, and international observers are not allowed to come in and see it. They are not allowed. But be careful. Careful. Because the worst is yet to come. Get ready with this. One second. Well, I want to show it, so I don't lose it. Okay, pay attention to this. We're going to come back to this place now, then this place that has a wall. A module. Just remember this place, because you're going to be amazed. You see the sports court here, right? Don't worry, we're heading back now. And the video you're about to see is going to keep you up all night. Anyone who can sleep after watching the video we're about to see is enviable. We're going to go now to the area of Aragua. We've already talked about what was here. The Aragua train was around here. This was a real mess. A zoo, brothels, slums, tents, shacks, tunnels. This is where the Aragua train leader escaped. It was total chaos. Nicolas Maduro allowed it so he wouldn't get into trouble with the Aragua train people until there was a total crash. And he sent them out of Venezuela. He sent them to Spain, to Chile. He sent them to the United States. He sent them everywhere. And all of this, a better approval? Corrupt regime of the Cartel of the Suns. Look, they even had a pool they could swim. It was supposed to be a prison for crime, but it felt more like a resort, with everything included. For the members of the Tren de Aragua, Nicolas Maduro obviously declares war on him for something that must have happened, probably because of power issues. And in the end, well, he ended up dismantling this, taking them out of there in a sort of face-saving move. We've talked a lot about this place not far from there. There are 2 other prisons. This is, again, more of the same. I'm just thinking right now about the video you're about to see of Vladimir Padrino, and you're going to go crazy. The same thing happened here. Prison of General of Venezuela, Detention Center for Judicially Processed, July 26. Look here at what was here. Back in the day, and it's time. 2007, all good. See what happens between 2007 and 2013. Again, the typical booths of the Aragua train and everything being controlled by them. Allowed. Notice the evolution. There are prisons where crime reigns and others where political prisoners are taken. That's important to understand. Look at the difference in this prison we're seeing now. It's a mess, clearly due to the vermin. Then this gets taken apart. It has been rebuilt and taken apart several times, experiencing both good and bad periods. Notice the difference. This is already amazing. They are elongated modules. where the roof gives off terrible, terrible heat. And you'll see that prisoners never appear here. In the yards of each module, not a single one appears. Not one, never, never, ever. Here, yes, 2016, you can see some activity down there of some kind. 2014, that's when this was being built. Look at the construction. Just imagine in the middle of summer under these metal sheets. It must have been terrible. Not far from there, diary. We've already talked a lot about this place. This is where there are a lot of political prisoners, where there have been many suicides, and where people have had a hard time. Terrible. We're back to the same old thing. Same protocol. And look, in the prisons where there are political prisoners, they don't have them mixed with the criminals from the Tren de Aragua. They're not there. Other prisoners include Year 1 and Year 2. Year 3. But it's nothing like that. But on the ground, I mean, what are these kinds of pressures really like for political prisoners? Well, family, the time has come for you to watch the video. I'm just telling you. It's something to think about. Video we're about to watch now. It's another facility. It's not Yar. It's the place we've mentioned, which isn't far from Yar. It's a place that's being built from scratch. Here's Sena Premil. That's what it's called. In this place, one of the worst places of the regime will be built. I know that with this, we're getting ourselves into trouble. It's not that we like trouble, but this needs to be reported. 2017. 2018. The land is already being leveled. Construction began in 2019.
19.
Some small marks are made on the ground. Now you'll see what those ground marks mean. It is abandoned for a while, in 2019.
19.
In 2020, the idea comes back. He starts building a structure here. This one we see here. The structure is covered, so it can't be seen. What is happening? Chalk, a very simple prison, a building, the entrance which will be for administration, another building for the guard team and the inmates here. Family, attention to the video. Magazine for the construction of the Military Process Center. There we can see the courts. We saw this one from the air. We can see them from here. There you can see them. And now get ready. That's Vladimir Padrino. I want you to look all around. It's a cage. It's a complete cage, but the worst part isn't there. They keep the prisoners underground. Look at the ground. They keep people locked underground. It's just a few seconds of footage. But this is terrible. Like in medieval times, they toss food down so people scramble and fight for it. It's an incredible thing. Look at this frame which they missed. This cage has no mattresses or places to sleep. As you see, it's 2 stories, but on one level. There are some inmates, and on the lower level, there are other inmates. And I don't think I need to explain, or I don't think it's necessary to explain that there aren't any toilets either. I don't think I need to explain that there are no toilets. And what happens when a person needs to take care of their business? Those below will receive what comes from above. I want this to be very, very clear. This isn't about sending international observers or reporting to the United Nations. This is a matter of military intervention. Right now at this moment. This is what you never see or is never shown anywhere. It's what's never mentioned. These are the topics they want us to avoid. That's why it's super important for you to leave your likes, for us to share this live stream. Now, please, on Twitter, we need to share this live stream. Because this is the closest camp to what you already know. We can't allow something like this to exist in 2025. This is tough because it's hard to see and understand. It's clear. It's clear with this topic. They claim to have soldiers and prisoners, but it's nonsense. They only have political prisoners. Political prisoners. Let's continue. If we can even continue. After seeing this, it's just terrible. It's really hard to go on. With something like this, it's an impossible thing. I'm going to drink some water with your permission because I'm just amazed. Of course, they cover it up for you like this. So you can't see it from above. If we go back to the rear, when this was being built, they made 2 floors, but on the lower floor, there's the grating, and on the upper part is the other row of prisoners. In fact, notice that the staircase is right there on the right side, where there's a girl taking photographs. This is the year of this. It's more or less in the time of COVID. From 2020 to 2021. There was a time when they weren't very clear about what they wanted to do. They were always clear that they were going to mark off this area. That there was always a boundary. There was a perimeter here. We can see the construction and structure. But of course, there are things missing here. I mean, there are things that just aren't here. This, for example, is the treatment plant where the waste is dumped, but it's not used directly. It's super small. It's not enough to serve an inmate population in a place like this. It's just impossible in every way. It's impossible. Notice how this part looks maintained, but over here it's already dried up and there's nothing left. He doesn't even use all of this with 1 tower, 2, 3, and 4 towers. In a perimeter that's impassable, that is double wall, because we can see there's a double wall, there's this wall, then there's another outer wall. Notice that, okay? What we're talking about, sorry, you weren't seeing it? It's just that I'm so shocked by this. This is supposedly the water treatment or waste recycling plant. I don't even know which it is now, but it looks like there was a time when it did work together with these bases here. And then it just stopped working altogether. And what we see here is a double wall, meaning there's a wall here and a double wall, another taller wall right behind it. This is Nicolas Maduro. This is the guy who goes around saying he's a practicing Christian and that he asks evangelical communities for help around the world. People need to realize what they really are. See, look. Here you can see clearly that there are groups of prisoners who are at the bottom and others who are at the top. And what connects them all or everything are those bars? There's nothing else there. There's nothing more. The story is nothing more than what we're seeing. After seeing this, I think people are left in shock. Not sure. What do you all think in the chat? I want to see your comments in the chat. Thanks for the memberships, by the way. Thanks for the comments. Let's put up your super chat. Let's stop here because, well, we still haven't seen anything yet. Be careful because we still haven't seen everything. Jose, Joseph, thank you both so much. Merry Christmas to your family. Strategy. Thanks to the moderators for their work. Greetings from the Dominican Republic and a hug to all Venezuelans. Thank you, my friend. Jessica, thank you. Grizel, thank you. Merry Christmas and a blessed 2026. What do you buy each month? Giant NATO plane strategies arriving in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's go see it. Let's see. The topic, Trinidad and Tobago, is huge. It's a bombshell. This format. It's amazing. I don't see any planes in Trinidad and Tobago now. I don't see any planes. Were you also referring to a Russian plane, an Ilyushin, in your earlier comment? I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Also, I have this filtered a lot, you know? Military planes interest me more than civilian ones, though I assume there are some. There must be some kind of traffic. Recovering soon? Military plans? Merry Christmas, Christian community, thank you. Abigail. Yes, honestly, well, I'm going to be recovering, unfortunately, for months now again. I already thought I was fine, but, well, no, unfortunately not. And I'm going to be out for a while. I'll be recovering for a while until everything is fine, but I'm sure it will be fine. Friend Griselda and the organizers? Groups like Human Rights criticize Secat and Salvador's prisons. Yeah, this is great. This is great. Now we'll play a video from El Salvador. People criticize one of the safest countries in the world right now for making their country the safest in the world. I just don't understand these things. El Salvador had a brutal crime rate. It was something outrageous, tremendous. And now that they've put all the criminals where they belong in prison and not letting them out, never ever do they criticize them, but no one criticizes Nicolas Maduro. No one can say that there's a torture center there. The images are right there. By the way, value-added tax 91 seems to have been hunting, has been watching, has been going around here. Colombia area Gulf Cartel. They're not having a good time, and they're not going to have a good time. They won't have a good time, as things will just keep getting worse. Thank you so much for that super chat, really. Thank you for the 20 memberships to Selvas. Thank you so much, Selvas. A Russian environment is heading to Trinidad and Tobago from Texas, United States. I haven't seen it and have no idea. Thanks, Andrea. Let's replay it to check if it's there. I haven't seen it, but if you say so, I believe you. Many things are arriving in Trinidad and Tobago, and even more are still expected. Let's go back to the map. Many of the prisons
De
for exterminating these people, the one Maria Corina means is Rodeo and Guatire. This is Rodeo 1, 2, 3. This is a mega prison. It's a real mega prison. And more of the same. A terrible structure, totally abandoned. This is where they keep people locked up. Because of their ideology. Did you guys notice that? Merry Christmas, military style, Maria Corina Chavado. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yes, these are places of torture. Come on, that's what they are. This is exactly what the United Nations was telling Mr. Maduro and all these people. It's this. That you are destroying a people. The rodeo prison is really old, huh? It existed in 2023, and part of it has since been expanded. But it's striking that right next to the prison, there's a luxury house with a field, baseball, a pool and sports court. I don't know. These things are just too much for me in many ways, especially when I see it. You say, oh my God, the 443rd Bolivarian National Guard Detachment is also here. Do you have them there? In this place, it's the place that Maria Corina is saying that threats of eliminations are being made. Well, here we have another story. This building here also belongs to the Bolivarian intelligence, and there are also cells for torture here. That's one. We've talked a lot about the helicoid, the prison where Delcy has them locked up around here, but the one we haven't talked about is one called the Tomb. In the basement of this building underground in Plaza de Venezuela, it's full of cells. It's an underground prison. These people never go outside. If they're lucky, a candle is permitted. In the darkness. That's where they have these people locked up. So that people are clear about it. And Maracucho, good evening, strategy, Merry Christmas Eve. God's justice sometimes takes time, but it always comes. Yes, that's true, and it's a way to measure human patience. How patient are we? How much are we able to endure? Beneath this building, part of Bolivarian intelligence, as I said, a mega prison there holds people inside. This Green Branch really stands out. Well, another icon of torture. Green Branch, please. Here in this prison, in Ramo Verde. Historically, they have had a lot of political prisoners, many. But it seems that the world has other, more important things to see or to think about. I'm not sure what you're all thinking in the chat, so let's check out your comments.
Dios.
This happening is just too much.
Demasiado.
It's too much.
Demasiado.
We've already seen Takarums, the one from the Aragua train. We saw that one a while ago. And this is damage. It's irreparable damage to the country. It's irreparable damage to humanity. It's something that doesn't make sense. Well, hold on. There's more. There are prisons for women. Prison for women, Puente Ayala. It's only for women. Can you imagine
Claro.
what could happen there? Being a woman in prison. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. Because it might be tough. Here you can see that they were building a much bigger prison. In fact, this is a prison. Now that I'm noticing, it has had its moments of splendor. Obviously, built between 2006 and 2009.
Muy bien.
A fairly structured prison with different walls. We can see it around here. Some prisons house only women. Imagine what he might think. By the way, is Nicolas Maduro's prison project expansionist? Notice here that this is 2011. Since he keeps building, wanting to build more and more prisons because, of course, he has to reach the quota of dissidents. Did he abandon the project? Was there a moment in 2017 when he abandoned it? It doesn't look like it's recovering. In fact, it seems to be dismantled or falling apart. Haven't they had enough money to open an even bigger prison and put more women in it? However, this one is operational. Look here, how the inmates have to line up. Look there. You see this image before, after. The inmates have to line up like this. I insist on this. It's a camp, you know. To what I'm referring to, the informant. Thank you very much. Hey, thanks for the words you dedicated to me on your channel. They touched my heart, and thank you for caring about my health. Life has these things, brother. There are days when we're fine and days when we're not. God tests us all. And the important thing is that we have strength. We have the strength to tell all this, to talk about what's happening, what's going on, and everyone is doing their part. I always say it. The informant Guarimba. Eduardo, everyone is putting their little point. I always come here to put my little point. There's also the topic of satellites, image topics. Are you seeing it around here? And I feel like it's not enough. Sometimes it's not enough because the people who really need to realize that this has to come out now just don't realize it. This can't keep going on like this. It's really terrible. La Pica is another prison. La Pica is another one of those sinister places, this regime, where they want to take people far away and make them disappear. They take them to La Pica. And from La Pica, you end up in the jungle, literally buried. La Pica is also one of the most sinister places. They have no maintenance or anything. They take you there, and when it's your time, you'll die. That's how it is. That's how the regime is. That's how clear the regime is. There's another detention center in the Amazon, this one here. They're small centers because in the Amazon area, it's not like that. There's still hope for life. As a prisoner, they'll toss you right into the river. Directly, which is terrible. I want to play the video again so people can see it. People underground. Or on an intermediate floor, but receiving everything that comes from above. This is horrible. Excuse me, this is something horrible. The thing about human rights, they must intervene now. But it's no longer about sending an observer to take notes in a notebook. Send an attack and put an end to this regime. How can they sleep at night after hurting so many people? Also, the second part of this program. will be none other than the mass graves. Where do they bury the missing people? Where do they throw them? Why do they throw them in the river? Also,
es,
it's amazing everything we're going to see and everything that's yet to come. Let's hope we've done our part with the issue of
em,
about Maria Corina. What has been discussed here is right here. We've made a map to explain to people exactly what's happening. The tomb, you've seen the name. The name itself is already scary. They've sent me the tomb. It's tremendous. It's really tremendous. Family, your likes are super important. Thank you so much for being here with us live. We have to... Really, we need to do something about this. Family, it's been a real pleasure being here with you live. With military strategies, thanks to your community, you're all part of this. And thanks a lot, Andrea Villar, for the 50 memberships. And thanks to everyone who joined us. See you at the next show. I'm going to rest now, so please excuse me. I'd love to spend 3 hours with you, but I can't physically, so I need to rest. And I think we've shared a lot for today. Take care.